And welcome to episode 57 of the Red Mountain Express. I am Blake Westbrook. Joining me as always is Patrick Tucker and Matthew Joyner. How are we doing today, guys?
Good.
Breathing.
We're all here.
Just breathing?
Yeah.
What does
On
that
time
mean?
this time.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Blake didn't forget what day it was.
You know what? And you know, it kind of threw me off again today because it's Wednesday, because we're recording this on Wednesday instead of Tuesday. So, but I'm here. I was sort of on time other than the person driving really slow on Rocky Ridge. So, I'm happy to be here.
Did you have a good weekend?
I did. I had a really good weekend. How about you?
Had a good weekend. Wesley started playing baseball.
Fall ball?
Fall ball. So we had his first game on Sunday.
How'd you do?
They did great. He had a few hits. He didn't have to use the tee, coach pitch, so it was a good week.
Yeah.
My nephew will be starting fall ball here this coming weekend. I'm excited about that. I enjoy fall ball a whole lot.
It's fun. It's very laid back. Much more laid back
I
than
played fall ball and football one year. I think it was in sixth grade. Yeah, just couldn't do it. It's too
It's a
much.
lot.
It is a lot, but baseball's awesome. So my Braves are, I think, 7 games up. So has nothing to do with Birmingham, but
I can't tell you the last
You know-
time I actually watched a baseball game that wasn't Little League.
I think once you become a parent, you have way less time for watching baseball. I haven't
Baseball
followed it in
takes a while to watch.
It does.
It's like watching golf. Like it's just
If I had 3 hours,
what's wrong with watching
to sit
golf?
and do
I
something,
mean, come
then
on.
I might actually watch. But
It's a good weekend, everybody.
good weekend.
Oh, good. Well, let's kind of get into some of the news today. We have an update on the Bird scooter, which let me just say this. Saturday morning, my wife and I, it's kind of a tradition. We kind of just get some coffee and we ride around with our daughter and just kind of just explore our community. And I saw these things everywhere. I mean, when I mean everywhere, I mean like on every corner they're just laying around. But apparently they're being impounded at this point, right?
I think they have been
they
impounded at
have
this point.
been.
Every one of them, though. Because I saw some like
I mean,
today.
unless they're sneaking more back out there.
Right, yeah, I don't know that every one of them have been accounted for, but Homewood and Birmingham have been doing work to get these things off the street.
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, at some point they're going to sit down and talk to these folks about actually doing this, right? Is that happening right now?
Yeah, so Homewood put a 30-day or 60-day moratorium on Bird scooters. So I guess they're going to impound them for the next 60 days. But they've actually kind of agreed to say, let's sit down and talk about this. Let's figure out a way to sort of license this and do it sort of through proper channels.
Instead of just dropping off a bunch of scooters on the sidewalk.
Well, and I think it's like, I think we talked about it last week. They kind of forced the issue. They said, essentially cities don't really have a way to license motorized scooters.
Oh, trust me, they can figure a way to do
They
it.
can figure one out, but no, they've never had a reason to. And
That's
now
true.
they have a reason to. That's what Bird has kind of done is they said, look, you're going to have to address this one way or the other. You can impound them all and hold on to our scooters, or you can come up with a law and we can license them and people can have it something they can enjoy in the city.
They're lucky that we're really nice folks here in Birmingham because a stubborn mayor, Blake Westbrook, would be like, you know what? No.
No,
They're
you're never
they're-
going to license.
You're never licensed.
You call the next company and be like, "Y'all
exactly.
come on."
Yeah, Lime's on the way. Is it Lime is the other one?
Yeah, Lime was another one.
Lime's on the way. So, so they're in talks right now to kind of get them back on the streets. I know they've applied for business licenses in Homewood and Birmingham, correct?
Right. So Homewood impounded about 38 last week. Birmingham has impounded 41 this week. And Homewood has called for comments from citizens to say whether or not they want these things and what kind of regulations they should have. They're also going to, I'm sure, talk to Bird. And Bird has stated that they've applied for their license. Now, when did they do that? Did they do it after they were impounded? Did they do it before? Same story in Birmingham. Birmingham has impounded these, and they have already met with Bird at least once. So we'll see how that proceeds. Interestingly enough, Homewood, with their impounded scooters, between fines and court costs, is charging Bird $371. Now, Patrick, you found a story earlier where with Birmingham's impounded scooters.
Yeah, I think they've got these stored by Wheel Record Service, which if you've ever parked anywhere close to illegally in Birmingham, you're very familiar with these folks because they've probably towed your car. And you probably had to pay a ridiculous fee to get it back. Not actually speaking from experience because I always park legally.
And let me just say something. Wheel Record Company gave me a ride during the snowpocalypse of 2013. Was it 2013?
Right.
So, you know what? Let's get off these guys back.
Yeah, they're just doing their job.
But
I was
what they
told.
are doing is they are charging, I think it was $20 for the first day and then $17.50
For each scooter?
For each scooter for each additional day. So they have racked up probably multiple thousands of dollars worth of storage fees for Bird scooters.
I wonder where they came up with the number. I bet it was just arbitrary at this point.
What do we charge for a scooter? I mean, what's a car? I don't know.
It's $20 done. You know, how many scooters do you think they've got?
I like the first day, and then each additional day is at lower cost. Like
You
we
get
take $2.50 off for each additional.
You get
day.
a discount, right? Yeah, for a discounted
Do we get
rate.
a bulk discount?
Yeah. So we'll keep you updated on that this new development. I'm actually wanting to try one of these scooters just because I think it'd be cool. But just don't drop them off and just leave town. Let's actually do this. So, it
doesn't seem like they have a choice right now. If all their scooters are impounded, it seems like they kind of have to
sit down at a table and talk about it. Hey, how do we get those back?
Right.
I guess. We got some real estate news for you. The former Golfsmith store on Highway 280 sold for $2.2 million to Hale Properties. This location is next to the River Ridge Shopping Center. It's anchored by the Super Target, and their neighbors are the MedHelp on 280. I've been to the store. I think they got put out of business, like you said earlier.
The PGA store moved in just down the street, so I think that probably ate up a lot of their business.
Well, you can buy some really cheap golf balls and I think you can get like golf gloves for really cheap there too. So I can understand that.
And they've been closed for a few years, and then their parent company actually went bankrupt in 2016. So
yeah.
They went under pretty good.
They're way closed.
Yeah, way closed.
So apparently the scuttlebutt is this is going to be turned into a discount tire store?
Right. So Biz Journals reported that their information from Colliers International, Alabama, said the property may be turned into a discount tire store.
I mean,
what kind of discount tire? I mean, first of all, they're
like four.
There's Firestone,
Goodyear,
there's NTB, and there's Tire Engineers.
Tire Engineers, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you could call any of those discount tire stores, though.
Let me tell you something. I've never had a discounted tire put on my car a day in my life.
I
We're going to give you a discount. This tire is only $150,
Yeah.
I've gotten some discount tires at Firestone, and they are discount.
For a reason.
For sure. I don't know what it could be, honestly.
This does not seem like an ideal tenant for such a high-traffic space.
Well, no. Getting in and out of that
location.
Kind
of need high traffic if you're selling tires, though, right? You get the joke?
That's terrible.
That's a dad joke.
I mean,
it's an awkward location for traffic sometimes. It's kind of on a little side road there in front of the shops.
I mean, the only thing I can think is that all of the other ones are on the other side of the road. So you might get people going one way.
Or you're looking for tires and you don't want to turn left, so you're like,
right.
all right, well, I can just turn right
Let me tell you
Exactly,
something.
yeah.
If I'm ever going to look for an investment opportunity in Birmingham, I'm going to open up a gas station on the right side, leaving it the work, because you can't get, other than that Chevron, from where we work at in Inverness Parkway.
Oh yeah,
there's no other gas station on the right side. And there are some days where I'm like, my car odometer says, not my odometer, my fuel gauge says, you got 15 miles. I'm like, I could just make it home.
Yeah.
Because there's no way you can do it. So
that actually happened to me in Snowpocalypse. I was actually headed home from work, and I got in my car and cranked it up, and my tank, my needle was beyond empty.
Oh, God.
And I was like, I'm gonna run out of gas in the snow. And I passed that first Chevron, and I was like, going down to it, he's like, I'm not gonna make it, because traffic was stopped. I was like, I'm gonna eat up all my gas. So I actually ended up having to go cut across 280 in the snow to go to a gas station on the left side. It was awesome.
Telling you, we're gonna have to open up a gas station on the right side. Matthew, you pointed out a story about the new Boys and Girls Club's plans to open up a new clubhouse. Is that right? Right.
So the A.G. Gaston Boys and Girls Club has plans to build a new $7.2 million clubhouse next door to the Birmingham Crossplex in the 5 Point West neighborhood. This is going to replace the current Kirkwood or Bolton clubhouse at 2900 South Park Drive Southwest. That building's been used since the late 90s.
Is that the one that's kind of back behind Crestwood Park, or am I thinking of a different one?
That's a different one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe so. Their executive officer, Frank Adams, said that the club currently has a daily average after-school attendance of 150 students or members, and that their summer daily average attendance is about 240 people. He says that the new 24,300 square foot clubhouse would allow the Boys and Girls Club to increase its capacity and allow for an average daily attendance of 450 children and youth. They say that over 90% of the needed funds for the facility have already been raised through their Building the Future capital campaign. They've got the groundbreaking set for December, and they hope to open by 2020.
That's great news. And I see on the bottom here that this is city property, right?
Right. So it's city property.
Yeah.
They're going to lease from the city. Right now, their plan is $1 a year with a 95-year term.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Woodfin pretty much said, look, we aren't doing an assessment on this value or this property for the value, and we're not interested in using it for anybody else.
And they haven't voted on yet, so we'll keep you updated if that's actually voted on. But that's really good news.
It sounds like it's a done deal.
Can't imagine the city council not voting.
I think everything's already been worked out, and it's just formalities now.
No. Another, I guess this is real estate news. 2 hospitals here in Birmingham that were closed in the past. Trinity over there on Montclair and Caraway Hospital are kind of primed for redevelopment. Now, Trinity was going to be redeveloped into a mixed-use. I think there was plans for like condos and shopping. I think one plan had like a theater going in there.
It was a whole big thing, bowling alley.
It was really ambitious, and that's been scrapped, right, Matthew?
Right. So that area, the Trinity Hospital area, is nearly 1 million square feet, about 79 acres, and it was a Maryland-based company that was looking at it for all this mixed development use. They were into like high-end apartments and a retirement location and bowling alley and theater and just a whole mess of things. It sounded really cool, but it was very over-ambitious, I think. They have taken enough time to look at it and I guess really consider all the factors, and they've decided to back out. So right now it's really up in the air. I think this would have been a cool thing to do. I don't know how much it could have been supported. I mean, you're talking about a lot of residential space and a lot of mixed-use space.
Yeah, and especially you're built on the edge of a pretty great community of Crestwood that, I just can't imagine that it would have been as successful as they wanted it to be.
Yeah, I don't know.
Now, Patrick, you're from Crestwood, so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think your point was it was probably a little too ambitious. I don't know how they would have been able to phase that in so that they could sort of, redo one part of it and make it work while they're redoing the rest of it. Like, which part do you do first? I'm sure they would figure all that out, but it did seem ambitious. I think something like that is going to go in this space.
Mm-hmm.
It's maybe a lot of property for it not to.
Yeah, right. Maybe scale down a little bit. I don't know. I don't know. I think that something like that could work. I mean, that seems to be the thing that they're wanting to do with hospitals, because that's sort of what's going on with Caraway as well. Right? They're looking at a mixed-use space with possible entertainment venues, possible some condos or apartments there as well. I think some residents were wanting more like a grocery store and maybe an entertainment venue or something similar to like the Dave & Buster's or Top Golf or some sort of an attraction to get people there. Matthew, you had a good point that somebody was saying.
Yeah, I was on the Reddit thread about this story earlier today, and I noticed somebody talking about Low Mill. And I'm lived several years in Huntsville, and Low Mill up there is it's an old mill, and it was turned into like an entertainment / art type area. Basically, you go inside, and there's all these stalls lined up against the walls that have different creators and artists from the area, and then they have a stage area that they do different plays and concerts and things that I think that's really cool. I think that would be a good location for something like that. You've already got the entertainment district almost right across the street,
pretty
right?
adjacent to it.
So I think something a little bit less mainstream right there would be really cool. And we have a pretty big community of artists in the area that could use something like that to have a stage or a format to get their stuff out there for people to be able to come look at.
I thought that was a really cool idea. I don't know if that's the perfect space for it or not. I think maybe it's too big. I mean, it's 50 acres, I think is the former hospital space.
Yeah.
Not sure how big the actual buildings are. I've never actually been there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the building's probably maybe a little too big for something like that, and that could be part of it. But I don't know. I think there may be some other opportunities there I like the idea of putting a grocery store there, maybe kind of
absolutely.
like a shopping center with some other businesses there, just to something that's going to attract people on a daily basis.
Well, I think at the end of the day, something needs to be put in these buildings because they're at least Caraway is people have said it's slowly becoming an eyesore, or it already is an eyesore. But also, it's just not good to have a big old vacant building sitting on the corner because it degrades the value of the properties around it.
Right.
So, but hospitals can be redeveloped into a lot of things. For example, I'm from Montgomery. And we had, I think it was St. Margaret's in downtown Montgomery that was redeveloped into the Alabama Law Enforcement's headquarters is there.
That's cool.
So, it still looks like a hospital, but there's definitely potential in both these properties. So when something else happens with either Caraway or Trinity, we will keep you updated.
I had one other thing. Last week we made the comment about not being a journalist. This is the most journalist thing that I've done. We also asked about the Powell Avenue steam plant that Alabama Power was working to redevelop, and I actually reached out to them and asked them what the update was on that plant. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of update. They've essentially completed the work on the stabilization of the property, but they're really just asking or trying to determine the best use for it. So if you've got any great ideas, let Alabama Power know, but I don't think they've quite figured out what they want to do with it now that they've sort of updated it and stabilized it.
Now, am I mistaken in thinking that there for a while they had a plan of making it like a outdoor venue?
Yeah, I really don't think they had any idea what they're going to do. They just kind of redevelop it and were hoping they get some takers, and I don't think they have got any yet, which kind of shocks me because it's a really cool area.
It's a really cool building. They had some great looking mock-ups or renderings of what it could potentially look like.
Now, you talk about art. I mean, that would be a great place.
Actually something that
would be
perfect for what you were talking about.
You know, if you're looking for people to come in and buy it, though, and do something with it, I wonder, so they've stabilized it, sure, but I wonder how much it would cost for somebody to come in and do something with this area, with this building.
Turn it into like restaurants.
Well, I
and
think
retail
that
space
it is
and
built
like
for, it's like a shell now, kind of like when you see an office building. So you can come in there and do your own type of thing. Like there's an upstairs area. They wanted to do like a big open air like cafe. It was kind of one of the renderings had, and I just thought it was really, really cool. But now it's just kind of sitting idle, and it's kind of but it's owned by Alabama Power, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And I'll tell you one of the things that I've said for a while, and I don't know if y'all remember this. They actually did a contest for that area, sort of parking lot area right around Railroad Park. This is several years ago, where they I think they gave like $10,000 or $50,000 or something to someone whoever had the best idea for what to do with the space, and they've never done anything with it. But one of the ideas that I had that I would love to see come to Birmingham. Have you ever been to Philadelphia?
No. Well, I spent the night at the airport.
Okay. They have a thing called the Reading Street Market up there, where the Reading Terminal Market, I think is what it's called, where they took the old Reading terminal, train terminal or whatever, and turned it into this sort of one big marketplace where they have different stalls in there. So they have restaurants and they have food vendors and purveyors. And
reminds me of the market in New Orleans that I went to.
Like the French market.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
It's kind of like that, except it's all indoors.
Yeah.
It's not as outdoorsy feeling, and it is amazing. It is the coolest. I mean, it's really one of the coolest places. If you ever go there, check that out. But I'd love to see them do something like that in a place like that, where it's just kind of a year-round market. They have. It's kind of like Pizzitz, where it's like a food hall, like kind of not really just a food hall because it's not just restaurants, but they have like restaurants and retailers, and I don't know. It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll do something like that. I don't know. Maybe they'll come up with an idea. Maybe they'll take my idea and run with it. I'd be happy with that.
Alabama Power, if you're listening, you can send your check to.
Well, thank you for the update, Patrick. Let's take a quick break and hear about our friends over at Beecham Woodworks, and we'll be right back with the second half of the show. Beecham Woodworks is a locally owned and operated wood shop in Birmingham, Alabama, specializing in custom furniture and small home goods. Chris and Kanan Beecham create a wide variety of unique pieces of all sizes, ranging from cutting boards to farmhouse tables. Using wood sourced from Alabama sawmills, Beecham Woodworks creates affordable quality pieces that will be a one-of-a-kind fixture for your home. So support your local woodworker and visit redmountainexpress.com/woodworks or check them out on their Facebook and Instagram accounts. Beecham Woodworks, turning your house into a home. And welcome back to the second half of the Red Mountain Express. Okay, this is not a Birmingham story, but it's a story that we have
It's a regional story.
Yeah. So the Mobile Bay Bears have relocated to Madison, Alabama, near Huntsville. And the name, they put their options for names, that was online.
Yes.
Yeah, it was up for a vote.
Okay, and people in Madison voted.
I don't know when people are going to learn not to do this.
Crap.
Well, you get things like Bodie McBoatface,
McBoatface.
which I'm a fan of.
So the name of the team is the Rocket City, which I thought Huntsville, the Rocket City. Trash Pandas.
The Rocket City Trash Pandas. I love this name.
This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
All right, I'm with Patrick. I love it, but also, even if you don't love it, here are the alternatives. The Thunder Sharks, the Moon Possums, the Space Chimps, And my second favorite, the Comet Jockeys.
The Comet Jockeys, I like too.
So bad.
Just, the Space Chimps, I don't know, it could have some negative connotations, but I also I think that's probably the most historically accurate name.
Yeah, because they sent Ham up in space. Yeah, the first one.
I think Moon Possums is probably sounds the worst. I don't know why. I can't think
That
of
just
anything
doesn't really
wrong
roll off
with
the
it, but
tongue.
it's weird.
Because there was never any possums at the moon, basically.
Right.
that you know of.
That I know of. I mean, yeah, when are they going to learn not to do this on
the internet? Don't let the internet name anything. Just don't.
Yeah.
It's a bad idea. The internet will ruin
you
anything.
give it to the wrong crowd. It
It's
wasn't
called
it.
trolls, man.
I think it was Taylor Swift. They put up like a contest to find out where she was going to do a performance at, and these trolls from if you've ever heard of the website 4chan, all decided to vote in mass, and they ended up sending her to like a school for the deaf and blind to do her concert. And that's,
I mean,
Oh my lord!
I'm sure the people there
They
at the
probably
school
loved it.
appreciated it. Yeah,
Yeah.
but like it was done out of complete malice. And so you take something like a vote for naming a research vessel, and you end up with Bodie McBoatface, which is funny, but probably also not what they were hoping for when they put that up on the internet.
what
to
did
vote.
they think they were going to get?
You know, it
That
could've
is
been
like
worse.
the most tame version of what I would think that I would get if you said, name my boat.
I wonder
but
how many of them
here's the
just
thing,
scratch
though.
off the list.
You know, there were some that got like plenty of votes. Are like, man, we can't. That's not family friendly.
I think they at least narrowed it down to realistic possibilities
Well,
before they
then-
opened
then
it up
whoever
to
narrowed
vote. But
that
like,
list
I don't know
down.
who nominated these things. The Thunder Sharks.
Well, you know, the Thunder
Moon
Sharks are
Possums.
Ole Miss these days. Apparently, have you seen that mascot? They're new. They're like the Land Sharks now.
Oh no! Is
And
that
it's-
actually their mascot?
the-
I thought
usually
it
the new
changed to a bear.
Oh no, they switched the mascot to the shark, and it is the ugliest looking shark I ever. Anyway, I don't
I've
want to
gotta
talk.
check that out.
Yeah, you got to check that out. But yeah, I mean, but you know, if you look at a lot of minor league teams, there's a lot of like cool names. Like you have the Lug Nuts, I think, are one of them. You have the Mud Hens out of Toledo.
What about the Biscuits?
The Montgomery Biscuits, yeah. Which my favorite. Here's the favorite thing about the Montgomery Biscuits is the person who told me about them. They were like, "Oh, you know, you can use things like batter up." And what did you say, Matthew? Like, you don't use
make-
batter for biscuits,
Right,
which
yeah,
is true.
that's-
Okay, so I said that, and
Was
we've
that you?
talked about this at least
Exactly,
3 times
yes.
now.
Okay, so the Trash Pandas are going to come to Birmingham to
They're
get
gonna-
whooped by the Barons.
Maybe.
Maybe.
They start playing in 2020, so we'll see what happens with that.
The Trash Pandas. Well, let's talk about some
So
upcoming events. Wait, I'm
well,
sorry.
I was going to say, in other great non professional sports names, the Chanticleers. Is that
That's the
Coastal Carolina?
Coastal Carolina
yeah.
Chanticleers. Okay, so that's a bad name, but the worst name is probably the Presbyterian Blue Hose.
I don't even
Is
know
that
if I
even really
believe
their
you.
name?
Yeah,
That's true.
I think you just made
Google
that
it, man. You got a computer right there. Pull it up. It's the Presbyterian Blue Hose.
up. That's awful.
Yeah.
But apparently they're better at football than UAB is. this year.
What are you seeing there on your map?
Presbyterian Blue Hose, HOSE. I want to point that out.
It's the blue.
I didn't say. Did I
hose.
say anything that was?
NCAA Division Football Championship Subdivision.
Yeah.
All right.
The Blue Hose.
Yeah, I'll leave it alone.
I don't even want to know how they came up with that name.
Or how Blake knows about it.
I think Megan told me. I think my wife told me. Because we were talking about funny things, and she was like, "Oh, the Blue Hose." Okay, so let's talk about some upcoming events coming to Birmingham this week. Of course, the UAB will be playing this week at noon at Legion Field. They will be playing the Tulane Green Wave.
Yeah,
That's
a good
a
name.
good name. You know, Green Wave, Crimson Tide, whatever. Last week they played Coastal Carolina, and they were defeated 47-24. And yes, Coastal Carolina is the
Chanticleers.
Chanticleers. So. So go out to Legion Field, support the Blazers, and hopefully lead them to victory over the Tulane Green Wave. Matthew?
So as we've been doing for the last 2 weeks, we're going to give you the weekend roundup brought to you by Happenings in the Ham. If you want more details or if you want to see more events coming up, please go check out their website. That's happeningsintheham.com. Of course, we will also have it linked from our website. So here we go. Their list is extensive. As always, we've picked out a few. These are just a few highlights, and there's a massive list of events going on if you're looking for something to do this weekend. Starting with Thursday, September 13th, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. is Brookwood Live. This is going to be at Brookwood Village. They say enjoy live music from Matt Carroll and the Brown Coats. a fun and passionate band covering a wide variety of pop, oldies, Motown, rock, and country hits that are sure to get you on the dance floor. They're also going to have local artist booth, local artist booths throughout Brookwood Village. The Thursday night pop up is going to be like a small Birmingham art crawl. There's going to be full service dining from Village Lane, and you can bring your own lawn chair and grab a bite from one of the dining options on the food court.
Matt Carroll's always a blast to watch. He used to play with one of my best friends, who you know, Josh.
Oh, okay, really?
Yeah, I don't know if he's still playing with him, but he's always fun to watch.
He may be one of the brown coats.
He may be. But so another fun event coming up at Avondale Brewing is Land Aid. It'll be Friday, September 14th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. The cost is $10 in advance, $15 at the door. This is the Freshwater Land Trust is doing their 10th annual Land Aid presented by Alabama Power and Greener State. They'll have Birmingham's own Will Stewart headlining this year's show with special guests The Green Seed and Rebecca Eagland music. Come early for the food trucks and a chance to win some great outdoor prizes, including day passes for High Point Climbing and Fitness Birmingham, a trip with Treeline Expeditions and adventure guides from Adventure Keen, and a $100 gift card from Alabama Outdoors. All proceeds support Alabama lands conservation and trail building projects in central Alabama, which sounds really cool.
Seems pretty good. Avondale Brewing Company, is that right?
Yep, Avondale.
Awesome. Well, at All South Appliance, there's the Big Green Egg Cook-Off. It's this Saturday from 2 to 7. The cost is $8 in advance or $10 at the gate. Join All South Appliance Saturday from 2 to 7 p.m. for the Excellent Egg Fest Cook-Off. There'll be live music, cooking demos, a kids zone with a bouncy house, face painting, balloons, and tons of yummy food samples. And for fun, for the whole family. Don't miss out on this awesome cook-off. All ticket sales will be donated to Children's of Alabama, so it's a very good cause. Tickets are available at Eventbrite for $8. Like, can be bought at the door. Like I said, $10 when you get there. So please check that out. It's going to be a good event.
All right, and finally, we have the return of Trucks by the Tracks. This is going to be on Sunday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. The cost is $5. Come and see Birmingham's best food trucks as they gather at the American Family Care Trucks by the Tracks, serving up everything from hot chicken, specialty burgers and tacos to fruit bowls, popsicles, Italian ice, and gourmet ice cream sandwiches. There will be lawn games and activities set up throughout the park. Live bands will take to the stage as everyone enjoys the city's best mobile cuisine. Musical acts will perform throughout the afternoon, including headliner Dominique Posey, the Oxymorons, Rachel Roberts. Yeah, Oxymorons is great. And the Huffman High School Drumline. Tasty beverages will also be for sale, including Coca-Cola products, as well as Good People Brews.
Will Rusty's be there?
Rusty's will not be there this year.
Oh.
Sad day. Was it there last year?
No. He didn't have the food truck up and running last year.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But, I asked him about it, and he was like, is that coming up? I was like, yeah. I think you missed the deadline.
He stays a little bit busy.
He is so busy right now. They've got, they're out and about, so if you catch them, they're.
Any idea where they're going to be coming up soon? You can.
Actually, I think they're going to be at the UAB game day out at Legion Field.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, good. Check them out if you go to the UAB game over at Legion Field. Matthew, let's go to weather with Matthew. Matthew, give us a weather update.
No. Before the weather update, before I forget to even mention this, I was supposed to mention earlier and kind of slipped my mind. As we ended the show last week, I believe I said something about we're going to have a sneak peek at an upcoming venue here in Birmingham. Well, some things changed on their end. There's some circumstances that came up. We had to reschedule that. We will be taking part in that sneak peek, and we will get back to you with that. I'm not going to say who it is yet. I want it to be a surprise. And then, so finally, as we close out, I'm sure you've heard of Hurricane Florence. It was, going to be hitting the coast here tonight, I think that's right, or no, Thursday night. It's been sitting out of the ocean, picking up water. They have changed the course. It was going to be hitting more like northeast. Now they're predicting that it might hit a little bit more inland, like towards Atlanta and Birmingham. That'll probably take place around Sunday or Monday, depending on what the storm does in the next day or two. So stay safe, keep your eyes open, pay attention to the weather. Most likely by the time it gets to us, it'll just be a lot of rain, but you never know. I mean, I remember as a small child, several big hurricanes come through that have done a lot of damage. So stay safe out there.
Yeah, and to all of our listeners in South Carolina, North Carolina, we're with you in spirit.
Get out of there.
How many listeners think we got in North Carolina?
At least 2.
Don't we have like a listener from like it was like where was the farthest way that we saw?
So I don't know if they actually listened to the show or not, but we definitely had some download pings from like Russia a couple of times, which is kind of weird.
Fake news,
and yeah.
I love the Red Mountain Express.
The more
it's a great
recent
show.
one we had, I think, was in Italy.
Somebody from Britain downloaded our show about Birmingham, and they're like,
we
not
get
Birmingham.
we get Instagram
This is
likes
not
all the
Birmingham?
time from
Yeah.
UK accounts.
"What's that?
We get Instagram likes from UK accounts a lot.
We're not Birmingham.
Yeah.
Birmingham." Yeah. So, well, that'll wrap up this edition of the Red Mountain Express. Remember, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Also, go to redmountainexpress.com to check out our show notes and letting us know how you like the show and if you have any requests. We'll be back next week for Matthew Joyner and Patrick Tucker. I'm Blake Westbrook. This has been the Red Mountain Express.
Peace.